June 11th, 1997. Delta Center, Salt Lake City. 46 seconds left. 19,000 people on their feet, screaming for Utah to finish this. Chicago trails 85-84, and Michael Jordan is walking to the free throw line, looking like a man who should be in a hospital bed, not an NBA Finals game. First free throw. Good. Tied up. Second free throw. Short. And for one heartbeat, it looks like Utah has survived. But Chicago keeps the ball alive, and Jordan pulls it back out. Scottie Pippen catches it in the post. Brian Russell leaves Jordan to help on Pippen. That's a decision he's about to regret for the rest of his life. Pippen sees it and fires the pass back outside. Jordan is standing there, wide open, 25 seconds. His body has been screaming at him to stop all night. His legs are heavy. His skin looks gray under the lights. Every single trip up the floor has cost him something he's not getting back. But this is still Michael Jordan. He catches, he sets, he rises. 3. Good. Chicago 88, Utah 85. And then comes the image that tells you exactly how much that shot just cost him. Jordan stumbles toward the bench. Scottie Pippen wraps an arm around him and holds him upright. Jordan's body just folds into his teammate like a man who's used up every last thing he had. 38 points, 15 in the fourth quarter. Chicago survives, 90-88. But none of that explains the three questions hanging over this game. Why was Michael Jordan barely able to stand? How had Utah pushed the greatest team of this era to the edge of losing control? And was the game everybody still calls the flu game actually the flu at all? To understand why that three-pointer meant more than 3 points, you have to rewind 5 days. Because what Utah did to Chicago before this night is the reason that fourth quarter even matters. Go back to the start. The 1997 Bulls aren't some aging dynasty hanging on by name alone. They're defending champions. 1 year removed from 72-10. This season they go 69-13, which on any other team in history would be the greatest regular season ever played. Jordan is 34, plays all 82 games, and leads the league in scoring at 29.6 a night. Chicago is still the team everybody has to go through, and everybody knows it. But Utah doesn't walk into this series impressed. The Jazz win 64 games, best regular season in franchise history. Karl Malone averages 27-10 and takes the MVP trophy. Not the sentimental vote. Not the Lifetime Achievement Award. The actual MVP. Over Jordan. And then there's John Stockton. Stockton doesn't need the ball in his hands for 20 seconds to be dangerous. He runs Jerry Sloan's system like a machine. He gets Malone the ball exactly where Malone wants it. He turns the corner on the pick and roll before the defense even rotates. And the second you make one lazy decision on that end, he makes you pay for it immediately. Jeff Hornacek stretches the floor. Lose track of him for half a second, and he buries a jumper that swings the whole momentum of a quarter. So, here's the matchup. Malone has the MVP trophy. Jordan has 4 championship rings. One man just got voted the best player in the regular season. The other has spent the entire decade proving that the regular season doesn't decide anything. Now they're standing across from each other with a title on the line. And during the first week of June, the finals start turning into something nobody in either locker room expected. Game 1, Chicago. United Center. Tie game, 9.2 seconds left. Karl Malone steps to the free throw line with a chance to put Utah ahead. Scottie Pippen walks past him, close enough for Malone to hear every word. The mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays. Malone misses the first, misses the second. Jordan gets the ball with 7.5 seconds left. Brian Russell is in front of him on the left side. No help coming. No double team. Jordan crosses him, rises, buries the jumper at the horn. Bulls 84-82. Game 2 isn't close. Jordan drops 38. Chicago wins 97-85. Bulls go up 2-0. Same story as always. Chicago takes control and everybody else watches. Then the series goes to Salt Lake City. And everything flips. Game 3. First NBA Finals game ever played in Utah. The Delta Center is deafening before the ball even goes up. Malone comes out looking like the MVP voters got it right. He drops 37. Jazz blow Chicago out, 104-93. Now Game 4. Chicago leads 73-69 with under 2 minutes left. Series control is right there for the taking. This is where Stockton reminds everybody why he's in this conversation. He strips Jordan, draws a foul, gets to the line, later knocks down 2 more free throws. Jordan misses a jumper, and Stockton grabs the rebound himself. Then, without a second of hesitation, he throws a full-court pass over the entire Chicago defense and hits Malone in stride for the go-ahead layup. Utah wins, 78-73. Stockton finishes with 17 points, 12 assists, and 4 steals. Just like that, 2-0 is gone, series tied 2-2. This isn't about Chicago protecting a lead anymore. This is about survival. And while the Jazz celebrate taking home court back, the Bulls' biggest problem is already happening 60 miles away where nobody can see it. Late Tuesday night, Bulls team hotel in Park City. Michael Jordan wakes up violently ill, not tired, not a little worn down from the series. Violently ill. He's throwing up through the night. He can barely sit upright. By morning, the man who has played all 82 games this season can't make it to shoot-around. No crowd, no cameras, no Karl Malone waiting at the other end, just a hotel room and a body that won't cooperate. At the time, the team calls it a stomach virus. The media runs with it. Over the years, the game picks up the name everybody still uses, the flu game. But Jordan and his trainer Tim Grover later tell a different version. They say it started after a late-night pizza delivery in Park City. Grover remembers getting a call in the middle of the night and finding Jordan curled up in the fetal position, barely able to move. Nobody knows exactly what caused it. And it doesn't matter. What matters is this. The NBA Finals are tied 2-2. Game 5 is tomorrow night, and Michael Jordan can't stand up without feeling like the room is spinning. His only concern isn't rest. It isn't recovery. It's whether he can physically get himself onto the court. Wednesday morning. Still no Jordan at shoot-around. That fact alone sends a signal through both locker rooms. This is the NBA Finals. The series is knotted up. Michael Jordan does not skip preparation for a game like this unless something is seriously wrong. Phil Jackson later says, Jordan has barely been out of bed all day. The simple act of standing up makes him nauseous. Scottie Pippen sees him and says something that tells you everything. He's never seen Jordan this bad. He doesn't even think Jordan is going to put his uniform on. That's coming from the man who's been beside Jordan for nearly a decade. If Pippen is worried, this is real. So the question inside Chicago's camp isn't how many points Jordan is going to drop tonight. The question is whether number 23 is going to be available at all. Jordan rests through the entire day. Before the game, the coaching staff has to evaluate whether his body can give them anything worth the risk. Eventually, he gets up, he gets dressed, he makes the drive down from Park City, and waiting for him in Salt Lake City is the worst possible building to walk into short-handed. The Jazz have won 23 straight home games. They haven't lost in that arena in the entire postseason. Chicago has already played 2 games there in this series. Chicago has lost both. Now Utah has a chance to win a 3rd straight, take a 3-2 lead, and send the defending champions back home 1 loss from elimination. Jordan is not going to sit in a suit and watch that happen. Jackson gets the message. Let him play. Manage the minutes. Jordan will tell him when he needs to come out. The plan sounds simple. A few minutes here, a rest there, another stretch when Chicago needs him most. Just get through the night. There's only one problem with that plan. Michael Jordan is going to play 44 minutes. He gets dressed. He walks onto the floor, and for anyone hoping the jersey would somehow make him look right again, the first quarter answers that in a hurry. Jordan makes it into the game, but within 12 minutes, Utah looks ready to run him and the rest of Chicago right out of the building. The opening minutes are ugly. Chicago comes out empty on 6 of its first 7 possessions. Turnovers, missed shots at the rim, Nothing comfortable, nothing clean. Jordan gets Chicago's first 2 baskets, but something is visibly off. His movements are slower. His rhythm is missing. He looks like he's playing underwater. Utah sees blood. Malone goes to work inside. Stockton keeps the offense flowing. Utah's bench brings wave after wave of energy. Chicago keeps giving away possessions they cannot afford to waste. A 9-8 game turns into 21-9. Every time the Delta Center gets louder, Chicago gets smaller. By the end of the first quarter, Utah leads 29-16. Jordan has 4 points. Chicago has made 5 field goals total, 5 turnovers already on the board, and every stoppage tells the same story. Jordan isn't bouncing around between possessions the way he always does. He looks hollowed out. On the bench, he sinks into the chair like gravity doubled. Then the horn sounds, and he has to drag himself back onto the floor and do it again. The second quarter starts the same way. Antoine Carr scores twice. Stockton and Malone keep Utah rolling. With 10:30 left in the half, the scoreboard reads Utah 36, Chicago 20. 16 points down. On the road. In a building Chicago has already lost in twice this series, against a team that hasn't lost at home all postseason. This doesn't feel like a question of whether Jordan can win anymore. It feels like a question of whether Chicago can stay close enough for the second half to even matter. And right here is where something changes. Jordan gets to the free throw line. He scores. Utah turns it over. Jordan scores again. And the pace of the game shifts underneath everybody's feet. Down 16, the smart move for a man running a 104-degree fever would be to conserve energy and survive the half. Let somebody else carry a few possessions. Don't burn what little you have left. Jordan does the opposite. He starts attacking. And here's what makes this stretch different from every highlight reel you've seen. He doesn't suddenly look healthy. He doesn't flip a switch and become the regular version of himself. He changes how he scores. No wasted movement. No trying to beat 3 defenders off the dribble. He picks the moments that are there and takes only what the defense gives him. A trip to the line, a mid-range pull-up, a steal that turns into a fast break, a drive that forces Utah to actually defend instead of just watching the clock melt. The free throw line becomes his lifeline. He attempts 10 free throws in the second quarter. He makes 9. By the time Utah realizes the game has shifted, the damage is already done. 36-20 becomes 38-33, then 44-41. Jordan steals a Stockton pass. Pippen misses at the rim. Jordan follows, grabs the offensive board, and finishes. 44-43. He gets fouled again. 2 free throws, both good. Chicago 45, Utah 44. That's a 25-8 run. Jordan has scored 17 points in the quarter. This is the part people forget when they only remember the three-pointer at the end. Jordan doesn't rescue Chicago in the fourth quarter. He rescues them right here. Without this second quarter explosion, there's nothing left to save by the time the fourth quarter starts. Utah steadies itself before the half and retakes the lead, 53-49. But instead of being buried by 20, Chicago is right there, 4 points back. And Jordan isn't doing this alone. Pippen is all over the floor. He'll play over 45 minutes tonight, finish with 17 points, 10 rebounds and 5 assists, and stay on the court nearly the entire game holding everything together around a teammate who can barely function. At halftime, Jordan tries to refuel. He needs anything his body will accept. Whatever gets him enough energy for 20 more minutes. Because the worst part of the night isn't over yet. The third quarter is where the night starts demanding payment. Jordan made it through the first half on adrenaline, free throws, and the kind of will that doesn't show up on a medical chart. Now his body is done cooperating. He comes out for the second half, and the difference is visible. The second quarter had been attack after attack. Now everything comes in bursts. 1 possession where he looks like himself. Then 2 where he's just trying to stay upright. 1 drive that creates a good look. Then a dead ball timeout where he folds over with his hands on his knees and you can see his chest heaving. He later says, This is the stretch when he feels closest to passing out. The air in the Delta Center is thin enough at elevation. For a man running a fever and fighting dehydration, it feels like trying to breathe through a straw. And Utah isn't slowing down to let him recover. Russell knocks down a three. Malone gets to the line. Stockton keeps probing. The Jazz push back every time Chicago pulls within reach. Chicago ties it at 63. Utah answers immediately. By the end of the third, Utah leads 72-67, 5 points. In a normal game, that's nothing. But this is not a normal fourth quarter coming, and every person in the Delta Center can feel what's about to happen. Utah opens the fourth with 2 Greg Foster free throws. Jordan answers with an 18-footer. Chris Morris buries a 3. 10:19 left. Utah 77, Chicago 69. 8 points. The crowd is standing. The noise is deafening. One more good run from the Jazz, and they're taking a 3-2 finals lead back to Chicago. And this is the exact moment when Jordan is supposed to finally have nothing left. He's been sick for over 24 hours. He's played 34 minutes. He's running on fumes that ran out 2 quarters ago. There is no logical reason for what happens next. Money time. No saving anything. No holding back for a potential Game 6. Whatever is left in the tank gets used right here, right now. Utah 77, Chicago 69. Jordan comes off the action and knocks down a 13-footer. 6-point game. Stockton comes back the other way and misses a 3. Jordan grabs the rebound. Now watch this. He doesn't force a shot. He finds Tony Kukoc open beyond the arc. Kukoc lets it go. Good. 77-74. You can feel the Delta Center tighten. The noise changes. It's not confident anymore. It's nervous. Antoine Carr turns it over. Pippen has the steal. The ball swings to Jordan behind the 3-point line. He rises. 3. Tie game. In just over a minute, Utah's 8-point lead has evaporated. Completely gone. Jerry Sloan calls timeout because he has to. His building just went from celebration mode to survival mode in 90 seconds. But Chicago isn't done. Stockton misses again. Pippen gets the rebound. Jordan comes down, pulls up from 20 feet. Good. 79-77 Bulls. That's 10 unanswered points. Jordan has scored 7 of them and assisted on the other 3. Think about what that means at this stage of the night. His shot should be abandoning him. His legs should be gone. His first step should be a memory. Instead, every time Chicago needs a bucket, he finds just enough balance, just enough lift, just enough of something to get one more. Utah fights back. Russell hits a 3 and puts the Jazz back in front. Pippen gets to the line later and ties it at 81. Now nobody can pull away. Every loose ball is life or death. Every rebound matters. Every single trip down the floor feels like it costs something that isn't coming back. Utah has spent the entire night waiting for Jordan's body to finally shut down. It never does. He finishes this fourth quarter 6 for 10 from the floor. 15 points. But the shot everybody remembers still hasn't happened yet. First, the game has to reach 85-84. And with less than a minute left, the entire night comes down to one missed free throw, one double team, and one defensive decision that Utah will replay for decades. 46 seconds left. Utah 85, Chicago 84. After everything Jordan has spent just to be standing on this floor, it comes down to 2 free throws. He gets fouled. No clock running now, no defender in his face. Just Jordan, the rim, and 2 shots. The first one drops. 85 all. He takes the ball again. Second free throw. Short. For 1 second, it looks like this is where the night finally catches him. Every ounce of energy he's borrowed all game, every minute he's played past what his body should have allowed, it looks like it's all about to come due on one missed free throw. But Utah can't finish the possession. The ball gets knocked loose. Jordan secures it and pulls it back out beyond the arc. Chicago is still alive. And instead of forcing a contested shot on pure desperation, Jordan does something that separates the greatest from everybody else. He resets the offense. He feeds Pippen in the post. Now Brian Russell makes his decision. He leaves Jordan. He comes over to double Pippen, and the second he does, every single person watching knows what's about to happen, except apparently Brian Russell. Pippen sees it instantly. Ball back outside. Jordan is standing on the left wing, nobody within 6 feet of him. 25 seconds on the clock. This is the same man who nearly passed out in the third quarter. The same man who's gone back to the bench after almost every stretch tonight, looking like he might not have another run left in him. The same man who couldn't get out of bed this morning. And Utah just left him wide open with the game on the line. Jordan catches the pass, sets his feet, rises. 3. Good. Chicago 88. Utah 85. The Delta Center goes silent. Not quiet. Silent. 19,000 people, and you could hear the net. Utah comes right back. Stockton finds Greg Ostertag for a quick layup. 88-87. 15 seconds left. 1-point game. Still not over. And here's the play that always gets buried behind Jordan's 3. Utah needs to foul immediately. But Chicago gets the ball moving before the Jazz can stop the clock. Pippen pushes it ahead. Finds Kukoc. Kukoc sees Luke Longley slip free underneath. Kukoc delivers the pass. Longley throws it down. 90-87. 6 seconds. Now Utah needs a 3 just to tie. Jeff Hornacek gets the look. Miss. Stockton grabs the rebound and gets fouled as time expires. He needs the first free throw just to keep a miracle breathing. He misses it. The second goes in, but it doesn't matter. Final score, Chicago 90, Utah 88. Now look at Jordan's stat line. 38 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block, 44 minutes played, 15 points in the fourth quarter alone. But the stat sheet doesn't give you the image everyone actually remembers. As the final seconds drain, Scottie Pippen gets to Jordan and wraps both arms around him. Jordan's body folds into Pippen. His head drops. His legs barely hold him. Pippen walks him toward the bench, half carrying him. No fist pump, no celebration pose, no staring down the crowd. Just a man who poured out every single thing he had and a teammate making sure he doesn't collapse on national television. Jordan later says he was closer to passing out during that game than any other moment in his career. And around him, Utah's entire reality has changed. 23 straight home wins, over. Undefeated at home in the postseason, finished. A chance to take control of the finals in their own building, gone. They're down 3-2 now, and the next game is in Chicago. But the real importance of the flu game isn't that Jordan scored 38 points. It's what those 38 points made possible 2 nights later. Game 6, Chicago, United Center. The Bulls aren't fighting for survival anymore. They're 1 win away from championship number 5. And Game 6 comes down to the wire, just like Game 5. Tie game, 86-86. Under a minute left. Every person in the building knows where Chicago wants the ball. Jordan. Obviously. But Jordan has been watching something all game. He's noticed that Stockton keeps leaving Steve Kerr to come double him whenever he catches in the mid-post. Every single time. Stockton cheats off Kerr. Same read. Same rotation. During the timeout, Jordan looks at Kerr and tells him to be ready. He says Stockton is going to leave him again, and when he does, Jordan is going to find him. Chicago comes out of the huddle. Jordan gets the ball. Russell is in front of him, and right on cue, Stockton slides off Kerr to help. Exactly what Jordan told him would happen. Jordan draws both defenders and whips the pass to Kerr. Wide open. 17 feet. Kerr lets it fly. Good. Bulls take the lead. They finish it moments later. 90-86. Championship number 5. And that's why Game 5 isn't just a famous photograph. It isn't just a highlight. It's the game that made everything after it possible. If Jordan sits out, Chicago probably loses Game 5. Utah takes a 3-2 lead. Suddenly the Jazz have 2 chances to close it, and the defending champions are scrambling. Jordan knew that, so he didn't sit. He didn't play like nothing was wrong either. You could see what the night was taking from him on every single possession, so he managed it. 1 stretch at a time, 1 jumper when he had the legs for it, 1 trip to the line when he didn't. One defensive stand when Chicago needed a stop. One more shot when there was absolutely nothing left to give. Except somehow there was. And then, when the game was finally safe, Pippen had to hold him up just to get him to the bench. The flu game isn't legendary because Jordan looked invincible that night. It's legendary because for once in his career, everybody watching could see that he wasn't. And he still found enough. Some performances are built on talent. Others are built on dominance. And then there are the ones that are built on nothing but the refusal to stop. June 11th, 1997, was that kind of night. If you watched this game live, I want to hear from you. Where were you when Jordan hit that three? And nearly 30 years later, where do you rank this performance? Is the flu game Jordan's greatest finals moment? Or do you take the 63-point explosion in Boston, the 6 three-pointer first half against Portland, or the last shot in Game 6 of '98? Drop your pick in the comments, because the fans who were there for these nights remember things no box score will ever capture. And if you love the rivalries, the pressure shots, the forgotten plays, and the NBA stories people still argue about decades later, subscribe. There are a lot more nights like this one worth reliving.